Hello, this is Julie Golding Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, along the tidal Scoodic or St. Croix River, the traditional territory of the Passamaquoddy, and I'm grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. Today I have a card for you from the beautiful Citrus Blends stamp set, and you can see here's the card that we're going to be making. It also involves the Mediterranean Blooms paper, which matches. And it's going to be a very simple stamping project, and so we will get right to that. Okay, so let's start right away. All right, I'm just going to put this card here so that we can see what we're doing here. And the first thing I'm going to do is get out our supplies. So here we go. I just realized I forgot to close the door to my office. I'm going to go do that. Okay, sorry about that, friends. Okay, so here is what we've got in our packet. So if you take a class from me, this is basically how the class supplies will come. I'll have everything all pre-cut and ready for you. And depending on the class, you'll either get a spool of ribbon or you'll get a set of the embellishments, or I'll have them all pre-cut for you as well. And this is basically what it looks like. Oh, hi, Kathy. It's nice that you could make it today. Yeah, we're making this lemon card today. I really like this Mediterranean Blooms paper. It's so pretty. So let's get to our project. So this is a tag from the Designer Tags dies. They have been out for a while, but I really like them because they make these quite ornate looking tags, and I think they're so pretty. So let's see, let's go ahead and we'll stamp that. Now I used black here, but you could use a color if you prefer. But I'll just stick to what I had before. All right, so here we go. So it's the Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I really like to use that one. So we're going to use this sentiment that said, "You're the best kind of person." Oh, you love that sweet too? Yeah, me too. It's so gorgeous. The stuff in it is so pretty. I mean, I think Stampin' Up! Really outdoes itself in all kinds of ways with all the different designs they have. But honestly, this one is just terrific. You can't beat the colors, the combinations that you get. All right, let's see if I've got enough on that. Maybe I'll turn it upside down and I'll do it this way. With this Tuxedo Black, I find it can stamp a little bit light, even grayish sometimes if you don't get it nice and coated. So you can see I've got it on there. You just have to be careful not to get the black on the edges here, or that'll show up on your tag as well a lot of the time. So let's see how I do. I'm just going to hold it down for several seconds to give the ink time to transfer there onto the paper. Okay. Oh yeah, that worked really well. So that's what my sentiment looks like. So that's it for stamping for this one. It's really simple. And if you're joining me for the first time at this event, this is called Craft and Chat, and I do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I started that in September, and I'm trying it through the end of this year to see if people like it and if it makes a difference to you. If it does, I would love to hear from you, because that way I'll know kind of better how to make a decision at the end of the year, whether I continue with this or not. But this is the lovely Citrus Bloom stamp set. It's so pretty. So I'll show you also the card that I made the last day. Remind me later on if I forget about it, and I'd really like you to see that as well. Okay, so now we're going to actually assemble this. So the first thing we need to do is actually cut out these lemons. So these are from the Mediterranean Blooms paper. That's the other side, which is also very pretty. And I'm just going to take out my scissors here, and we're going to do a fairly quick job of it here. So I find that if you just turn the paper as opposed to turning your scissors, that tends to do it for me. It works much better. You get a much smoother edge, and you just need a little bit of white space around the outside. You don't have to fuss too much about it. It doesn't have to be exactly even all the way around. Nobody's going to be looking that closely, and you're going to have so much going on the card that it really won't matter in the end anyhow. So let's see what we get here. So you know what, I'm just going to take off that little leaf there because I don't think we need, I mean this leaf here, I don't think we need that. We've got plenty of leaves without it, and I think we probably won't need the stem even. So I'll keep the stem for now, but we'll see whether we actually use that in the end. I'm not sure yet. So there's all kinds of lemon images in the paper. The trick is to just see kind of where the edges of the flowers are, because they're kind of pale, so it's really hard to tell where they end and where the white paper starts. But anyways, that's all right. If you end up cutting off a little bit of a flower, that's okay. There will be a way that you can put it on that it'll look just fine, so no worries. There's always a fix. I find there is anyway. And we will go around this bud here, and then around the edges. So there's unfortunately no dies for the lemons. You do get dies for the oranges. So there's my lemons. So that's pretty big, that image, and we won't need the whole thing. But I cut it all out because I'm not sure exactly what I'll need on my paper yet. But here are the dies that you can use. So this cuts out one of the orange images, this cuts out the other, but they don't really go with the lemons. And so if you want to use the lemons from the paper and you want to have them cut out like this, you just kind of have to do it the old-fashioned way. But that's all right. You know, just put on some nice music or a nice show and you can get it done in short order. You don't have to take too long to do this. So here we go. I'm just going to cut this out. So this card and the one I made on Monday with the oranges actually came from my Citrus Blooms class that I just did earlier this month. And it was really well received. I have to say that everyone really liked all the pieces because they were so pretty, and I did too. I just had a lot of fun working with this particular bundle and suite. All of the Stampin' Up ones are done really well, but every once in a while they do one and you think, wow, this is a home run. And I think that this is a home run. This suite is so pretty. And it's great because it can be used any time of the year too. So I think that that's a real strength of it as well. Oh, hi, Linda. Yeah, nice you could make it. Yeah, just kind of cutting out all these lemons here for our nice card. And I'm going to be done here pretty soon with the lemons. Now down here, I'm not sure if I'm going to need this part with the flower. I might not, but you know what? I'm going to cut it out anyway because you just don't know at the beginning where you're going to put your image and how much of it you're going to need. And you'll see what I mean as I put the card together. So there's the other lemons, or lemon. This is a single lemon. This one's got two. So I'm just going to put those to the side for now. And then let's see what we want to do next here. Okay, so the next thing is to take this beautiful frame and to stick it on the larger Gold Mercury Vellum frame. So I'm going to tell you about these pieces before I actually put them together. This Gold Mercury Vellum came out not that long ago as an online exclusive, so it's not in any catalog, but it has become one of my very favorite items. And we haven't even got to Christmas yet, and I'm using it pretty much on everything, like you can see on this one as well. And so it's a really beautiful paper. If you're looking for it, again, it's called Gold Mercury Vellum. And I'm going to try to blog this project and the one from Monday tomorrow so that you'll have the full supply list if you need it. But in the meantime, if you need to know anything about these projects, anytime, just let me know and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Now, this one is a really intricate die cut, and it is actually part of the dies. So you get almost like double dies because you get 2 pages of them with this set. So the outside one is what I used to cut this piece. So it cuts a big piece. And then I used this piece here. So I'll take it off because that's just another die for greenery. And that's what cut this part out. How I got it to cut out like this with this outline is I used these two dies together. So I put them together like that on my paper and cut them out together at the same time. And you can use a little washi to keep them together if you want to do that. And that's how I got this beautiful die cut here. So they're pretty flexible. You can use them in a number of different ways, and I really like that about them. Okay, but what I'm going to do first here is I'm going to stick this lovely green, garden green die cut onto the Gold Mercury Vellum, and I'm going to use glue dots to do that. You might think that I'd want to use some multi-purpose liquid glue, but the trick is liquid glue does not play nicely with vellum, and so that's why I'm not doing that. So if you're wondering why, that's the reason. It's just much better to use a glue. Whoops, one stuck on me. That's all right, I'll use it over here. It's much better to use a dry glue of some sort, so a tape glue like Stampin' Seal, or this kind of glue dot. Anything that's not a wet glue will be much better for vellum because the other kind just doesn't stick to it very well. I think it would eventually dry, but I can't imagine how long it would take for a liquid glue to dry on vellum. We would definitely not be able to make this card on the screen. I can tell you that for sure. It would be a really, really long process. So I like to use these glue dots instead, and they stick very nicely, I have to say, when you're using the vellum. So I'm just picking kind of larger places to put it. So you can see where I put my glue dots there every so often along the frame. So I don't really have a set number. I'm just kind of going along and putting them wherever I think they're needed to stick it all together. So I think one more in this area should do it. Because really, I think most of us probably use a little more glue than we need to. And this way, you can kind of conserve your supplies, and you don't need to use nearly as much. Now, the trick is to get this situated exactly over your piece before you stick it down hard. I think I did that. Yes, I managed this time. So the good thing about vellum is you can actually pull off the glue dots because they don't stick so hard that they're going to rip it or anything if you're really careful. And there is our beautiful frame background. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is stick this on. I'm going to move my card base. We're going to stick this frame onto our Daffodil Delight panel. And how we're going to do that is we are going to use Stampin' Seal just along the edge here where you won't be able to see it because it will be behind these greenery bits, so you won't see the adhesive. And I'm going to put a tiny bit of adhesive in the middle. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. So we're just going to go all the way around the exterior here. And down there. Okay, so that's what we've got. And let's do this here. So I'm just kind of centering it as much as I can. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not measuring it, but if you prefer to measure, please go ahead. That's totally cool. All right, so I've got that on there. And now I'm going to put on the lemons. So you can see over here that they're cut off along the edges here so that they match the edge of that Daffodil Delight panel. So I am going to put one up here, kind of like that. And the other one will come down here, kind of like that. And I'm just going to put them on with glue dots. So one is that it's easy to put them on with glue dots. And the other is that it'll allow them to pop up a little bit off the card, and that'll give them a kind of a more realistic look. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm just going to get some of these glue dots on the back here, just sticking them right onto my lemons, and maybe one more over there on the back of the lemon. So I just put maybe 4 on there. That ought to do it. And I'm going to just arrange it up at the top there and stick it down. So that's it. We're going to do the same thing down here. So we'll get a glue dot there, one on the lemon, one on the bottom of that one, and the leaf, another on a lemon, and maybe one kind of up here at the top, which will become the bottom when we put it on. All right. So maybe something like that. Okay. So now when we put that on our card base, that's going to be too big, right? So it won't fit in our envelope. It will look cool, but it won't work. So what we're going to do is just flip this over, and we're going to trim these extra bits off so that they match our Daffodil Delight panel. So very easy fix. And when they go off the page like that, I just find it gives them this really cool look. Doesn't that look interesting? I just think it looks really nice. So let's see what we can do over on this side. And here we go. Okay, there. So let's get all those pieces out of the way. And that is my panel. So it looks pretty good. And so far, really all we've used to do this is a tiny bit of ink and stamps for this, and the rest is all papers. So we're making the paper work for us today, that's for sure. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is take our card base, which is in Old Olive. This is one of the first colors I ever saw from Stampin' Up. I met Stampin' Up in around 2007 or 8, and the first cards that I made with Stampin' Up used Old Olive, I remember, and Cherry Cobbler. It was Christmas stuff. So I remember this color fondly, and I don't actually get to use it a whole lot anymore. So I'm glad that I can use it today. So we're just going to put dimensionals here. We're going to put 4 on each corner, 1, and then 1 in the middle. So 5 altogether. And then I'm going to take all these little backings off and discard those. By the way, I like to keep a little garbage bin right on my desk. I will show you that because I find it's helpful. Otherwise, you have all those little papers all over your desk. They can get stuck to your project, and then sometimes they go all over the floor, and that's not very fun to pick them up. So I have a couple of little garbage cans here. I have this one that just has this swing top on it, and I'm sure I just got it at a dollar store. And then I have this little one that looks like a recycle bin that has the top that opens. So I have 2 of them there, and I've always got something that I can put the little pieces into. So larger ones will go in the red one, and the tiny, tiny ones can go in the blue one. Okay, so we have that much done so far. Now what we're going to do is put the rest of it together. So we have, first of all, this wild wheat ribbon. And this is from the new Christmas catalog. Let me get the ribbon for you. It's right here. Okay, here's the ribbon, just so I can give you the right name here. So it is, the color is wild wheat. And the ribbon is called Rustic Striped Ribbon. Okay, and the number, if you're looking for it, is 164061. So it's a really pretty ribbon. I found that it can double for gold, which is kind of the thing in general with this wild wheat color. At first, it looks like this sort of dull brown, and then the more you use it, the more you realize it's got this kind of gold hue to it. And the gold really makes it so useful in so many ways. So I'm just going to kind of cut off the little bits we don't need. And that'll be good. Okay, very nice. And then we can go ahead and place our tag. And I find the easiest way to stick that on is with dimensionals. I like it when it pops it up just a little bit more. But if you're not a fan of dimensionals, or you're afraid it won't fit through the mail slot, then go ahead and just use mini glue dots or something else, because you don't have to use these if you don't want to use the dimensionals. All right, maybe I'll just let those come on top. See, now I didn't stick those all down because I used just a few mini glue dots here. And so now I can overlap my little buds here, and that'll look really quite nice. All right, so we've got that. And now the last thing I want to do is add some embellishments. So I just got to grab those here. Now, I have almost entirely used up my package of these little guys. These are called the Opal Rounds Assortment. So they come in the white, kind of a yellowish color, and a navy. And what I'm going to do is use them as the centers for some of these little flowers. So I'm going to use, let me see, 1, 2, and then I'm going to use a smaller one for the smaller flower. That'll be 3. So you can see that just gives them a little shine and a little bit more dimension because it pops it up a bit. And then there's some down here too. So I'm going to put a couple there as well. And that will be 4, 5. So I'm just going to go with the 5 because I find odd numbers of embellishments work the best for design. And with that, we have finished our entire card. So again, if you like this card, this is basically what my classes are like online and in person as well. I have a whole bunch of holiday classes all the way through the end of December that are up now, and I'll keep adding more as they come up. So you can just click through on the link that shows up in this live video, and that'll take you right to my page where all my classes are. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope this will inspire you to try out this beautiful bundle, which again is called Citrus Blooms. And it's from the annual catalog, and it's really pretty, and the paper is just gorgeous as well. Oh yes, I was going to show you the card I made the other day too. So this is the card from Monday. So I'm just going to show you that as well. And on this one I use Stampin' Blends to color everything. And then you've got this highlight of the In Color Glimmer paper, which is really pretty. This is in Peach Pie, which is kind of between this yellow, which is Daffodil Delight, and the orange, which is Pumpkin Pie. So you've got this Peach Pie in between, and I really, really like that. So I'll be doing another card. I hope tomorrow, if I can find the time, I will do it. Otherwise, I hope that you have a wonderfully crafty week, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.